Hello. It's Friday. Welcome, everybody. I have to tell y'all, because it's recent, I discovered the most fabulous recipe. So I normally will have an iced coffee. I think I've told you all this story. Morgan and I will take turns making each other iced coffees. Well, I happened to see someone on, I don't remember which social media channel, Instagram, TikTok, I don't know. They were making all these different coffee recipes at home and they made a shaken espresso. And I was like, I don't know if y'all have had a shaken, like the brown sugar shaken espresso at Starbucks. It is to die for. But because of my issues that I have with so many different ingredients, I've had to kind of lay off of them. So now when I go to Starbucks, it's usually just an iced coffee or a cold brew, or I'll get an Americano with some almond milk, nothing with extra additives, because most of their sugars will have like dextrose, which can be corn-based, or some form of like maltodextrin, which could be corn or wheat. And I keep getting these weird, I'll have these weird symptoms just pop up out of nowhere. And I know it's diet-based because as soon as I get really strict on my diet and we just eat at home, don't eat out, then they go away because I can control my ingredients here better. Anyway, so this lady made a brown sugar shaken espresso. And so I told Morgan, I said, we need to try this. So I tried it yesterday and we both fell in love. So, the only problem is that it takes a while to make because it uses your home brew, machine. So you got to grind the beans and then you got to make the espresso and steam your milk and froth it and then shake it and all these other things. Anyway, it's delicious though. We've decided it'll be like a once a week treat. We'll see. Hey everybody, I'm Carolyn with Swan City Yarns. I'm glad you're here. Let's check these awesome comments, shall we? Anne wins the first prize today for being the first winner. Hello, Deborah Sue. And Bo is here with us, of course. He's always welcome. Hello, Valera. And Shannon Boyer is here. I love it. And Catrins, we have all the Pate ladies. Hello, Evie. Evie is here. Tish is here. And let's see. Yes. And I might say your name wrong. And Vita, please correct me if I'm wrong, because, I will butcher your name like that. But as soon as I saw your name, I was like, oh, I saw her name in the chat. So welcome. So glad you're here. Oh, I'll have to put the coffee recipe in my next newsletter. Yeah, it is totally worth it. And literally, I only put 1 tablespoon of brown sugar in it. And so it's not like overly sweet. There's something about those home brew machines that it's the texture, because, you can make an Americano and add some, in my case, almond milk to it. And it's pretty good, but you brew an espresso out of the machine and put some frothed almond milk in there, and it just elevates it to this whole new level. It's amazing. I get so few treats in life that I have to really that's not true. I get a lot of treats in life, just not with my diet. Let's put it that way. Anyway, welcome everybody. We have some giveaways this week. I would make y'all wait for them, but you know what? Y'all that are here and watch regularly, you're going to watch the whole video anyway, because you're awesome that way. And people who watch later, welcome to you, by the way. You can just fast forward to the end anyway. So I say we just start with the goodies, shall we? I picked the winners this morning, as promised. By the way, when I say, I should probably have clarified that. We've done how many giveaways now, and I don't really clarify when I'll pick the winner, but I always pick the winner on Friday morning of the day that I'm going to announce the winner. So once I finally crawled out of bed this morning, thank you to 2 hot flashes last night. Actually, I think mine are cold flashes, but I don't know because I'm sleeping when I have them. I just know I wake up drenched in sweat. and I cannot live with it. So I have to go change my top, which of course affects my sleep. And so this morning, like I said, when I finally dragged myself out of bed, I went through all of the comments on both videos and picked a winner for the hashtag undies of the week, day of the week undies. So, and thank you all for participating, by the way. I love it. And the winner, by the way, is Jana, who is today the last day of her spring break? I think so. So who knows? She's probably out partying. Anyway, Jana Burton is our winner for these. So I will get those out to you, Jana. Congratulations to you. And then we have another winner for our March hat challenge. We had a lot of people participate. Thank you all so much for participating. I love that. You know, I'm going to be honest, when I first did the fiber challenges, I was like, oh, I feel like it's a way to, you know, kind of get engagement. And I wasn't really sure, you know, that's, it's not always my strong suit. I'm an introvert. And so it was just kind of an off the cuff idea, but they really turned into something awesome. And even like for April, even I was a little bit last minute with that one, but you all have like come up with some awesome ideas. And I just love that so much. So thank you all so much for participating. And the winner of that is Susan. Your face, I think it's Susan Marshall, but the Facebook name is Susan Bombard Marshall. And that was the winning post was on Facebook. And it was her not too tart hat picture that won. And I do believe she is using Swan City Yarns in that, although you don't have to participate in the fiber challenges. So congratulations, Susan. So Susan will be getting, by the way, I can't show it to you because I haven't dyed it yet. Susan will get to pick a major, you know, one of the main color families, red, pink, blue, purple, yellow, orange, whatever, that she wants 2 skeins of trusty sock dyed in. And then I get to take a little bit of liberty and dye her up 2 special skeins. So that is the winner for this month. Hey, Diane. Hello, Deb. So glad to see you. All right. Anvita says perfect. So that means I pronounced it right. Whew, thank goodness. I'm so glad. All right. Let's move on, shall we? I've been busy this week, let me tell you. But okay. So you know what? Let's talk about the April Fiber Challenge. I've got all my notes. You can see I hand wrote some because I print this out like Thursday evening, and then I'll be laying in bed and be like, "Ooh, I gotta add that." So I have to add all these handwritten notes after the fact. So the April Fiber Challenge, I hope you saw the post somewhere. I have now put a thread in the Swan City Stitchers. This is what you'll look for. It's called April All Things New Fiber Challenge. And again, you can post in that thread in the Swan City Stitchers or anywhere on social media. However, did I write down the, if you post anywhere outside of the thread, what hashtag did I say you needed to put in? SCS, I forget it's in there. I know it's in the post. So when you read the rules, you'll see the hashtag. Should have written that down. Anyway, so the goal for April, and a lot of it is on the honor system. Only you know whether you have chosen something that is appropriate, right? So the idea is that you pick something that is either new to you, maybe challenging, and it might just be something that's challenging in this phase of your life. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I've told y'all right now, for me to do like crazy, you know, Michelle, I'll show you all a picture of her 24 bird shawl. It's beautiful, but right now I feel like something like that is like out of my scope. I need easy knits, stockinette stitch, you know, maybe some garter stitch in there for for a little extra oomph. But really, you know, just because of the knitting time that I have and all of that, like I need pretty straightforward, easy patterns, let's be honest. So pick something that's challenging for you at this time. And for some of you, I think someone did mention they're going to try brioche or continue their journey with brioche. I saw some people say that they might make gnomes. I love that. That's awesome. We had been talking about assigned pooling, so you could do a project with that. I definitely want to do some more assigned pooling. Like that might have to be like its own fiber challenge at some point. Hey, Star, welcome. Thank you, Ian. SCS April Challenge. That is the hashtag. Hey, Bobby, glad you're here. So pick something that is new to you or challenging to you. And it doesn't even have to be, it could be a different type of project that you've never done. Maybe it's not difficult. I've never done fingerless mitts. Maybe I'll knit up some fingerless mitts. So I have to pick what my project is going to be. But yeah, it might be a first time sweater for you, or it might simply be that you want to try a new hobby like crocheting if you're a knitter, or knitting if you're a crocheter, anything like that. So the goal is to pick something new and to stretch your boundaries a little bit. So that's the goal during the month of April. All right. And then we'll talk a little bit later about May, because May is one that will require, I've actually thought ahead this time. So yeah, so May will require a little bit more planning. So, all right. In the meantime, I have some serious, awesome whips to show you all. Let's see, brioche and assigned. Yes, brioche and assigned pooling together. I love that. That's very cool. I saw those patterns. It was you, Carol, I think, that posted about brioche. So that's fabulous. Oh, I love it, Shannon. Attempting to knit socks. That's very cool. I love that. So you're going to learn to knit with the socks? I'm just curious. That's an interesting first project. I think I like it. I do. All right. Okay, moving over. I have to say, y'all were a little stingy with the whip pictures going into the beginning of this week. I was like, I'm not going to have very many whips to show. But y'all pulled through at the end. So I want to show you some of these fabulous whips that came around this week. So this one is by Valera. She's doing the Musselburgh hat, and she's using one of a kind colorways, Green Thumb. And I feel like the showstopper here is that beautiful rose in the background. Valera always takes amazing pictures, does she not? All right, this next one. Okay, this one has a little bit of a story. I got to tell y'all. So this lady came and with some family members at Nash Yarn Fest. They were walking around, and she came and bought a skein of Harvest and something else. And then literally, look at this, within a week, had just knit up this bandana. It's called the Herringbone Bandana by Susan Ashcroft. How awesome is that? And she made it for her sister who was with her, and her sister picked out the skein of Swanky DK. It's beautiful. I happened to grab this off of Instagram, and her name is Katie Keeps House. So very cool. Okay. Do y'all remember when I was talking about before January, I believe, that Knit and Stitch was starting their Good Day Sunshine subscription box? Well, and I dyed up the yarns for the first box. Well, here they are in all their glory. And that shawl is called the Space Dust Shawl, which I'm almost 100% sure they received in the box as well, the pattern for it. And I dyed up minis, just kind of similar in concept, not color, but similar in concept to what the original designer had. So you have multiple different colors and varying contrasts so that people could choose to make this shawl with their minis. And so this is Amy knit this. And so Dottie, the owner of Knit and Stitch, sent this over to me. And I just love it so much. So fabulous. All right, Lonnie has been teasing us endlessly with little snippets of her Fiber Fest shawl. And speaking of brioche, she's a brioche queen. She's doing, I believe that was a mixed bag is in there. And then she's also got, there was a one-of-a-kind blue that she's also got in there. And it's gorgeous. I love it. I might be wrong about a mixed bag. Is that a mixed bag or was that the other one? Mad About E. No, was that what it's called? Anyway, Lonnie can tell us if she's on here, but or you can look at one of her other posts. She has mentioned it before. All right, and then this, this was actually the winning entry of the March hat or fiber challenge, the hats, using some sort of green. And this one is I think I already said, the Not Too Tart hat by Fatima's Hines. And she's using the same combo as before, which I believe was one of the one-of-a-kind greens that she's using. So fabulous. And of course, I think she's got a new baby somewhere in the family. So she's been very, very busy. But okay, this is the 24 bird shawl that Michelle's working on. So by the way, I think I've said this before, but these 4 colors, she's got your blushing is the pink, Queen of Tarts is that dark plummy purple in there, charcoal is the gray, and then also Duke of Hastings. Michelle also knit the original Your Slip is Showing with those 4 colors that inspired that collection. And now she's using them again for the 24 bird shawl, which is just amazing. Just perfection, I tell you. And then Laura has completed her sip hat. I don't know if Laura is on here today. I think she's out gallivanting around in Savannah this weekend. She may have sent me a picture of some swans. So this is finished in leprechaun and berry. And I believe she said you only need 2 mini skeins. That is fantastic. I love it. And I love the contrast of those colors. Anne is doing something fabulous yet again. This is the, oh gosh, I just saw it earlier, the Polka Cats cardigan. And I love it. If you've seen the post, because it might be hard to see here, but the cardigan has these different colors of cats. And so she's going to use those colors that I dyed up, the spring pastel set of colors that I dyed up a few weeks ago. So that's going to be amazing. I love it so much. So cool. All right. I think, did I go through them all? I think I did. All right. So y'all have been very busy. I love it. Okay, Shannon, I've dabbled with knitting a square, so I'm diving in because I got bored with squares. Hey, I think that's the way to go. I love it. And if anybody can do it, it is definitely you. I have no doubt. So yeah, you can knit and purl. You're doing good. Yeah, you'll be fine. All right. And then Deb, those colors are scrumptious together. I'm guessing you're talking about the 24 bird shawl. I don't know. Could be wrong. Don't mind me. Okay, y'all, you remember the puffle socks? Well, I did finish them. I did prevail and finish the puffle socks. They're not technically blocked yet because I still have a few ends to weave in. Let me just tell you, if I may, happened this last week. Okay, so y'all remember, if you were here a week ago, I showed you this sock. And I said, I just need to finish the other sock. I can knit a sock in a week. And I can, and I did. So I had to finish Friday night. I finished the toe on this one, right? Saturday morning, get up. And Bo and I, we drove over to Orlando to meet with Marnie and Ruth, her sister, at Knit in Longwood. Yes. So Bo is my driver. And we leave early if we have something in Orlando on Saturdays. We've just learned that the traffic on I-4 literally by 8:30 will start to pile up in certain sections. And we cannot stand sitting in that traffic. It's much better if you're coming out of Orlando back west towards Tampa. But going east is just a nightmare. And they're doing some road construction to ease that up, some more express lanes and stuff like that. But it's going to take a while. And it's just brutal. So we leave early. I cast on and I'm knitting, dun, 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 happily down. The drive over and back. We met with Marnie and her sister. Fabulous ladies. Love them. And which, by the way, they will shortly have Swan City Yarns in their shop as well. So if you're local, you're going to want to visit them and see what they got. I'm just saying. Okay. And so I'm knitting and I'm not really paying attention because we're in the car, right? So I'm just going visually, right? And I'm knitting my different sections. And I'm so proud of how far I've gotten. Well, later that evening, I happened to look down and I'm like, what the? I had like 5 sections where I had knit an extra row. Now, I feel like this is such a noob move. Don't know what a noob is. I know they say it in video games, but you tease people like you're such a noob. You don't know what you're doing, basically. You're new. You don't know what's going on. And I just felt like, I know how to count rows. I just wasn't really, I'm sitting there in the car. Normally I have my tally marks. I don't know. I just wasn't paying attention. Plus I was in a hurry. So I think I was down here and I had like 5 sections where there was an extra row. Well, obviously it's not going to match up to this sock. And if it had been a sock for me, I probably just would have let it go and done fewer sections because, after so many, it adds up to practically another section. So I got to looking at the first sock and I said, well, is it possible I did it there too? And I think I did it on like at least 1 section over here, maybe 2, but not 5. So I had to frog back, y'all. I mean, I literally like most of my work that I had done Saturday I just tore it out. Well, so I spent Sunday re-knitting it. Yes, lovely. And I made it down. I finished the leg on Sunday. I did a lot of knitting on Sunday. So then as the week went on, of course, I did my second shadow wrap heel. I'm very proud of it. And it looks so good. I haven't even woven all the ends in and it looks good. I think that's my new go-to heel for show. So yeah, so I finished and managed to keep the row count as it should be. And I finished it, I think, Thursday. So anyway, I will weave in the ends this weekend and I will block it and then ship them off on Monday to my sister-in-law, and they should get there on time. So these are the Puffle socks by My Yarny Corner. By the way, if you've not seen them, I always put them in the show notes, so you can always find it there as well. Yes, thank you, Tish. If you have not already, please do hit the like, and you could also hit the subscribe button too if you haven't already done that. I don't know what you're talking about, colorful language. I would never. Actually, I learned it from the best. So what do I have left? Okay, so y'all remember probably from last week, I showed you the minis and I said, I have enough for a cuff and a toe, right? No, I did not. I didn't have enough. I had to start, I had enough for the cuff and I had to start a new mini skein for the toe. And the thing is, y'all, I would have had more than enough with just a mini skein of each if I had just not made my legs so long. And for all I know, Susan would not mind a shorty sock. So yeah, I'm going to have to make her a shorty sock in the future. I don't know what my deal is with these long legs on socks, but anyway, she's getting a long legged sock. So I needed just a little bit more than 1 mini of each of the 2 colors, but now I can use them. Oh, I could make myself a pair of shorty Puffle socks, although it kind of has left a bad taste in my mouth with all those ripping out I had to do. So, and this is the Fat Tuesday that I have left. I have a lot left over with that, but I'll be using, like I said, I will be using that for a sample, which, by the way, speaking of that, I'll just go ahead and tell you now, I will be making samples I never went over to Instagram. I'm sorry, y'all. Tara's on here, and so is Sharon. Instagram, welcome, ladies. I never, what was I going to say? Oh, okay. So if you are local and would like to attend the class, I put the link in the newsletter. June 7th at Knit and Stitch Boutique in Cocoa, I will be teaching a class and doing a trunk show. The class will be at 1 o'clock. It's just an hour long, and it's just about mastering hand-dyed yarn. So looking at a skein and kind of recognize, looking at the color repeats or how the color is distributed, and kind of getting an idea of what that yarn is going to do in different types of patterns. And then also suggesting ways to, or patterns that are good for hand-dyed yarn. You know, the idea is not to necessarily change how, well, maybe a little bit how you shop for yarn, but then also knowing what to do with the yarn that you have. Yeah. So there's that. Okay. So yeah, so that it's on their website, not mine. So, and I think it's like $15. So not a bad deal for a class. So if you're someone who, you might be somebody who hasn't worked a lot with hand-dyed yarns, or maybe you do, but you get frustrated sometimes because you get a skein of yarn home and you're like, what am I going to do with this? So you can always just knit a swatch, or you can just start knitting a pattern and find out that way. Some people are like to do that sort of thing, and that's totally fine. Absolutely. It's a good way to go, actually. All right. My other project, I am still working on the Musselburgh hat, but I didn't really get any progress done on it. So good thing it's not cold out and Bo doesn't need it right this minute, but I would like to get it finished pretty quick. So I'll probably be spending some time on that, this week. I did cast on the, the title's a little misleading because it's a snap. If you go on Ravelry, it's just called Snap by Tin Can Knits. And the thing about this pattern that I love is that it's really, the key is you can use up scrap yarn, or you can intentionally use up yarns. I pulled out the Fun and Festive mini set. This is the DK set. These are the 3 skeins that I have not yet wound up. These are 2 mini skeins that I have wound. And here's 2 more. So the idea is that you use 4 fingering skeins, 4 strands, or the equivalent. So they give you all sorts of, you can use a DK and a worsted weight held together. You can use, oh no, I'm sorry, because it's 4 strands of fingering. So it would be 1 DK or worsted with 2 strands of fingering. You could do 1 of the DK or worsted with sock and 2 lace weights. I bet you could get away with 1 lace weight if it has a lot of halo. You can use 2 sock weights plus 3 to 4 lace weights. And you can actually I am doing 2 strands of DK together. So basically, as long as you can get the, I thought they said, I think it ends up being like is it a chunky or a bulky weight? So the idea is that you can marl together different color combinations. I mean, look at those. And you can even do like they've done down here, that's kind of an ombre effect. And how you get that is by changing out 1 strand or more of your colors every so many rows. So for example, I cast on with Tickled Pink and Bodacious. All right. That was what I started the brim in. You can hang on. I got a bunch of ends I'm going to have to weave in, but I got to be careful which side I weave them in on. So those are that there. And then I got rid of Tickled Pink, and now I'm using Bodacious and Gnarly together. So they said every 6 to 7 rows, you switch one out. So I just switched out the one, left the other, and that's kind of how you get more of an ombre effect. And you could do a fade effect too, where you alternate, you know, 2 sets of yarns for a couple rows. So far, I'm liking this. Actually, you know, doing this ombre effect, that's new to me. Maybe this is my April challenge. Okay, maybe not. But anyway, so I have started, I'm making the adult large because I will say at first I was going to do the adult medium, which has you cast on 64 stitches, and it was a very tight, I mean, I was struggling to knit in the round, like they were all very tight. And so I ended up on the very first round, my knit one, purl one, my ribbing, I messed up. So I was like, so I just tore the whole thing out and cast on just 4 extra stitches for the adult large. And it was much easier to knit in the round on the 16-inch hat cord. So, and I'm pretty sure that will still fit my head, my big old head. So anyway, yeah, so I did start that. So hopefully I'll make some progress on that as well. Okay. Yes, Deb, you're right. They are definitely fraternal socks. I tried not to go too wild and crazy, but I don't know. I hope she likes them. My brother seemed to think that she would. So you get what you get. You don't pitch fit. Oh, Bobby, you'll be out of town on June 7th. That's too bad. Well. Yes, when one lives in cool country, long-legged socks are perfect. And she is in Ohio. Of course, we're heading into, you know, summer before long, but that's okay. She can wear them whenever. Hey, Laura. Laura's on Instagram. She says, I'm popping in briefly from a beachside restaurant in Savannah. Oh. Hello, Laura. And then I know Tara's commenting to Laura. She's jealous. I'm a little jealous myself. Laura has been very much globe-trotting. Y'all are a bunch of globe-trotters. I love it. I'm a little envious, I have to tell you. Okay, I did not tell you what I'm wearing today. Did y'all notice I'm wearing a hand knit? Morgan said, it doesn't look hand knit from far off. And I was like, well, that's a compliment, right? That's a good thing. This is the headed top. I will stand up. I knit this last year for our summer sweater make-along, did I not? So, and it's perfect for kind of high-waisted pants. And I knit it with 2 skeins of the old Tolkien base. If y'all remember, that was 50% cotton and 50% wool, which has just got a beautiful drape to it, really. That's one of the things that I love about it. I wouldn't expect it with, I don't know, cotton can have drape. So yeah, anyway, so it's a wonderful top, especially here in Florida. It does show off my, oh look, my saggy inner elbow arms. Oh, well, anyway, so which that leads me. So if I were to knit this again, I would probably do it in silky sock. And it would be, yeah, I would only need about 2 skeins. I might, if I make another one though, I'll make it a little bit longer. I remember saying at the time that this is one that I would definitely knit again. It was a fun, fast knit, you know, short sleeves help with that. So yeah, but what that leads me to is, since May is coming up, we have to do our summer sweater make along. We might come up with a different name just because, so maybe our summer stitch along or something like that. So be thinking, if you're going to participate, what pattern you might want to make. I'm thinking, I was looking at this came out, I think this month, Fiorellino by Isabel Kramer. And it's a nice top. It does have some lacy, well, not lacy, they're not, I don't know, is that lacy details? A little, it has some fun detail if it's not technically considered lacy details. Does it have to have a yarn over to be called lace? I don't know. But I like it. And I was looking at it, and some of the completed projects that people have done, and it looks cool. So the only thing is I'm not sure what colorway. I think I've told y'all I'm kind of been working on a new color collection, a bright, fun summer collection. And there is a seriously bright color that I'm thinking of knitting this top in, but it does have just a little bit of speckling. And I'm not sure, one of those things, can I use hand-dyed yarn, variegated with this particular pattern? Because it is kind of a delicate pattern and I would hate for it to get lost. So I may just have to do a little swatch with it, or start knitting, do my gauge swatch and then start knitting the pattern, because it's top down and you would see pretty darn quick whether the pattern is going to get lost in the color variations of the yarn. And I can't show you all the yarn yet because I haven't finished the collection. I was really busy this week. Great problem to have. Multiple wholesale orders I was dyeing up, which means that you all are buying yarn from local yarn shops. I love that. And so I've been staying busy, but I did dye up some more colors too. I've got 3 colors so far, but they're all speckled. And we got to have some tonal solids in there to even things out. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway. So be thinking about your summer top that you want to make, because that's what we'll do for May, just so you know. That's what's coming up. All right. And I love that. I love to be surprised with how the yarn knits up. See, and I think that's a cool outlook to have. But some people are not that way. They're a little more timid and they'll say, do you have a picture of how this knits up? Or, what would you knit with this? So, but it's kind of like that bandana that, where is it? Let me find it here. That Katie knit. You see, there's some definite stitch detail in there, and Harvest is a variegated yarn, but it just worked out perfectly. She didn't really have, I wouldn't consider that like serious color pooling in there at all. It's just very, very pretty the way that it all comes together. So, and I couldn't have predicted that, honestly, if I opened up that skein and said, there are definite color repeats going on here. So, depending on what you knit, there is a potential for pooling. So sometimes you just kind of have to be willing to go for it and do a swatch. I think now, and I got to do some more research on this. Obviously, thank goodness I have 2 months to teach my class. I think there are some math, like you can figure out based on your gauge and the math, the length of the color repeats. You can do some fancy figuring and determine what you're going to get. That's why the planned pooling patterns exist. I'm not teaching a class on planned pooling, by the way, so don't be thinking that. No. You're not getting that for $15. Okay, I'm sorry. Moving on. All right. Oh, good. And, I think that's what makes those of us who like hand-dyed yarn and like to knit with hand-dyed yarn, I think that's one of the reasons, because you like the surprise and you get such amazing combinations and things. And so that's the fun of it. I love that. Deb, maybe eventually a virtual version of the hand-dyed yarn for people who aren't local. Yeah, maybe so. Let me see how this class goes. I got to knit some samples up and that I want to use in the class and all of that. So yeah, I will keep that in mind for sure. Okay, let's see. Okay, shop update. Some of this you've all seen before. I did put some more. I want to spruce up my sparkly sock collection for trunk shows and fiber festivals. And so I dyed up a mixed bag, which primarily has, I pour down the, so this is one that does have color repeats. Let me show you. So I pour down sections of the blue and then that magenta and into the orange. And you can see where the blue and the magenta come together and make a purple. I don't lay down a purple color. It just comes together because they are liquid concentrates. So, and then I don't know if y'all can see that fantastic. It's not showing well for me. Oh, there we got a little bit of it. That is 10% silver stellina, baby. Hubba hubba. I just love that so much. And then, well, hang on, let me, this isn't going to twist up right. I've gotten to where, I don't know if my arm strength isn't as good. Do y'all know, I used to hand twist all the yarn way back at the beginning. I don't do that anymore. I've gotten spoiled. Morgan twists it all with a skein winder, and hers are beautiful. Oh, that's not too shabby. It would look better if Morgan had done it, but that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So there it is. And then I dyed up some bright to go with it. That's that blue that you see in there in varying tonal depths. So yeah, so we got those in the shop. Those are both on Sparkly Sock. And then as requested, I dyed up some raspberry lemonade. Now I made these as sock bundles for y'all. And you may have seen, I posted a picture this week. I was actually dyeing this up. I think I even did a short on YouTube. And this one it's a little bit more sporadic in terms of the color distribution. You've got those pinks and pink speckles along with the gold speckles. And that one, I have yet to see a project in which that one even stripes because they're pretty random all over the skein. And then it comes with a berry mini. So I did this on fingering, so Trusty Sock and Trusty DK. And then also Vanessa at Knitcessities is getting a bunch of the fingering sock sets. So you can, if you are local, you're going to want to visit Vanessa because she's getting a bunch of these early next week. Okay, I do have the raspberry lemonade. I had just a little bit of room in the pot because I really fill up the pots. And so I did like 2 skeins of just raspberry lemonade on Swanky Sock. So, and then on various bases, berry. I got to tell y'all, berry, it's always been a hit, even online. You all love it, but it was also a big hit at Nash Yarn Fest too. This one really draws the eye. So I had to dye up some more berry as well. So I think that's it. Yeah, so I'm kind of in preparation for some upcoming festivals and trunk shows and things like that. I'm doing some different things. So I took down Marmee and Aunt March, the pre-orders. I just took those down. I'll be dyeing those up this weekend. So those will ship next week. And Kim, I like that pattern. Are you talking about the Fiorellino, perhaps? You gonna knit it with me? Okay. What else? Okay, a week from today. Not a week from today. Nope, not that. A week from tomorrow, Bo and I will be at She Sells Yarn doing a trunk show as part of the Orange Blossom Yarn Crawl. So if you are local, I hope that you come. Oh, Kim, that's the one. Yay! Awesome. Maybe you and I will knit it together, shall we? One of the things I love about Isabel's patterns is that, you know, some designers will just give you the yarn that they used, and then they just give you the grams or how many skeins. And so you have to go figure out, okay, you know, how many yards per gram, and then figure out if you're wanting to use a different yarn. But she gives you the actual yardage, which is nice. So it's easy. It's easier to figure out. Yeah, and that pattern doesn't have a ton of ease or anything like that to, you know, mess around with or anything. So it looks like it'll be a pretty good pattern. It is fingering weight. Did I mention that? Yeah. So Tish got to run. Oh, you got to get those ducks clean. Yes. Happy fibering to you for sure. And Sharon, I have a feeling Sharon says, of course I am. I'm in New York. I think she's talking about globetrotting. Yeah, Sharon sent me some pictures trying to make me jealous. She was very successful. Okay, so I mentioned that that's April 5th, and then April 25th through the 27th, I've already told y'all, we'll be in Ellijay. The Marmee and Aunt March. Oh, I already mentioned that. Okay, so the other thing, did y'all know? Probably not. Why would you? Tomorrow is, yes, Kim, not a lot of math. I know, right? Tomorrow is officially National Swan Day. Did y'all know that? So I found out because Melissa works at my optometrist, not ophthalmologist, right? The eye doctor. She works for my eye doctor. And so she lives not too in a neighboring town. And on Instagram, she sent me a message, a link to, there's a local business in Lakeland, Picasso's, and they have like pottery painting and things like that. Bo and I periodically, if they're, I don't know, if we see they're doing a special event or something. I don't know why I don't think to go any other time, but that's usually when we go. We did a pumpkin painting last fall. Anyway, they also will do mosaic tiles, and they have swans, Lakeland being Swan City. So Bo and I went last Saturday and we put together a mosaic tiled swan. I was really hoping that it would be done and I could go pick it up before today, but it's not done, alas. They're doing the grouting. So I'll show y'all when I get it back. But it was really fun. It was funny because after our long drive to Orlando, and I'm trying to remember, did I have my sock incident? Was it before or after that? I think it was after that. Anyway, I was really tired, but I knew that I thought they was just like a one-time thing, like they would only have the swans that day. But I think it was the deal going on that was only that day. And it was that they would grout your swan for free. So Bo and I went up, and I'm glad that we did because we had a good time. So I made a black swan. I'll just tell you that. Yeah, so I'll definitely post it, and then I'll show y'all when we get it. So I'll have to name it. We'll have to name it, and then it can hang out with Odette, who is over here next to my salt lamp. She's hanging out looking classy with her scarf. Did I show you all her scarf? Connie Hendricks came to Nash Yarn Fest and brought me her scarf that she had knit in peppermint bark. How awesome is that? And I just put my yarn vendor pin on her to hold it together. Okay, I'm getting ready to go out with a boom. Whew. Excuse me. Thank you, dear. I know he's saying, bless you. Okay. Hey, I think that's all I have. If I've forgotten anything, I'll post it. And as Tish said, if you haven't already, please like, and then, I do want to say one thing and subscribe really quick. Thank you all so much. I cannot tell you how much your words of cheer and encouragement have meant to me. I know I've said it before, but I've recently gotten some more postcards. I got an email this morning, just lovely notes. And I want you all to know that I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you all tuning in and participating. Yeah, it really means the world to me. And I can't thank you enough. So I hope y'all have a great weekend. Thanks for joining. And yeah, I will see you next week. All right here. All right. Bye, everybody.